Welcome to Uncommon Courtesy.
We give you the courtesy of conversation.
That's uncommonly spoke of.
I'm D-Mac.
I'm Wesley.
And this is the show. Yo, it's been a wild day. First of all, like, listen, subscribe. Thanks everybody to subscribe to our stuff. Shout out to our sponsors, Crime Scene Seasoning by Doc Loves the Kids. You can find that logo right there. We're going to leave it there for a second. Now we into the news. Possibly an assassination attempt on Donald Trump at his rally. The news that we have so far is the assassin was on a rooftop, kind of to the right of the stage.
Adjacent, yes.
About 50 feet. No,
probably further than that.
Yeah, further than that.
Look that way on
it looks like that on the picture. We have the pictures. And first of all, like, just to let off on it, like, how did he get on top of that roof and nobody's seen him? And there was witnesses. There's witnesses that they got up on, they were already on a different roof watching, and they're pointing to the Secret Service and the cops saying, hey, there's somebody army crawling on this roof with a rifle.
And you would think that just by the way the setup was, hopefully we can get a picture.
Put that up
in here. And just the way the setup was, it had a clear shot from that roof. I mean, there was unimpeded view because there's trees, but the trees are separated between where that building is and where the stage would be at.
Yes.
That's where the perfect shot would come from. And it's an open field, so there's really nowhere else that has a high vantage point except for that roof where a person can shoot down on. I don't know what's like on the other sides of it, but that was a perfect vantage point. You would think that that's where you're going to at least even put your snipers at.
Yeah.
Is on a roof.
Or at least have somebody up there monitoring, because you're going to see where stand on the stage. That's like 101. You look around and be like, where can someone shoot me from?
Yeah, it just doesn't. Exactly. And that's how they normally plan out most of these like counter actions that they do. You know, they basically say, okay, where are all the the vantage points at? Let's go over here. Let's secure these points. But you don't have the one that's the most basic one.
I learned that from the movie Shooter with Mark Wahlberg, because they set him up. They had him go and look at like, where's a place someone could shoot our candidate from. And so he went to all the rooftops and found the best vantage points and told them about it. But they set it up where they took pictures of him before on the rooftop, and they just claimed it was him at the time when the person got shot. But no, there's a lot of things that failed on here. They're trying to say that Donald Trump asked for more Secret Service and he was denied by Biden. We have to look into that. But I mean, that doesn't neglect the point where you should have your own security. All the Secret Service around Donald Trump love Donald Trump. They love to work with him.
Absolutely.
Just like the people that are around Obama love Obama.
Yep.
And
it just didn't see it. I mean, like I said, he was allegedly shot. It looked like, and they're saying also that they think it was glass from the teleprompter that may have hit him.
Yeah.
At the same time, but we don't know. I don't want to cast any, doubts or any aspersions about things that may or may not have happened. But it did anywhere go. He was attacked at one of his rallies, which again, I want to make sure that I always say this first. There's no place for violence in our civil life as a whole. I mean, with our political life.
There is. Yes, there is. America's built on violence. It's been a violent country since the beginning. We've always been constantly in war. The other side of the aisle, the right side of the aisle, constantly calls for violence. I have an article right now talking about, where does he say? It says, behind, it's even somebody that's, they're using the Bible to say they want to have violence. They say, we want all the liberals dead. They've been calling for violence. You're
going to be able to find people that are going to say anything.
Yeah, but they're not, they never condone it.
There's a person who said, America's in a civil war and we're about to have a civil war and it can be bloodless if the left allows it to. And this is a far right guy. You can find crazies everywhere.
Yeah, but on the one side they condone it. Just now they're condoning the shooter. Like I said, when Paul Pelosi got beat up, even Donald Trump was making fun of him. Yeah. They don't care. You have to, if you stop dealing with people, stop having a heart for people that don't have a heart for you.
Now, I understand where you're coming from. It's not about having a heart. This is just how I am about.
And I mean, I'm not saying I wanted him to die or get shot like that.
I understand. I know. This is just how I am in general, because if we can't, the same way I am about, okay, you didn't win the election, let it go. I'm the same way when it comes to an election. Why not? If we're going to have an election, let's have one. We're a quasi civilized nation to a degree. I'm not. You understand what I'm saying? Like, we hold elections. There's other countries where they hold elections and you already know who's going to win. Period.
If Joe Biden got shot, how do you think the other side would be like, oh, we condone all this stuff?
I think a lot of people would say no, they don't condone it. I think that there would be a lot of people who say things like, well, this is what tyrants, blah blah blah. You're going to find
they'll be like, damn, he missed
everywhere.
No, I mean, like the people that are supposed to come out and talk, Like you have representatives and senators and stuff that are coming out. They were making fun of Paul Pelosi. That's where I kind of put the line at. Think about it. You're supposed to be like, no, we condone this to all your constituents so they can be like, no, we're about peace. No, you've been asking for war for years. You've been asking for kind of violence like this, and someone does it. Now you want to be shook.
And this is, I mean, honestly, they play the victim. They are.
Yeah.
I mean, this is not, I'm
yeah,
online.
It's the bully. It's the bully that can't fight. He's just bigger than everybody else. And then when he finally gets beat up, he's like, now they're the victim. I mean, like I say, I'm not condoning it. It's horrible. Nobody should be getting shot, especially when you're having a rally. But he was up there talking shit anyways.
Like I say, man, I'm on.
Think about it. He was talking shit.
Having these conversations with people already. You know what I mean? I am. You know what I mean? So I understand. Yeah. I feel the same exact way you do.
I ain't got no mercy for nobody. Ain't got no mercy for me. That's just how I carry my life. I'll stop and help old lady cross the street. I'll see somebody. I'll see a little kid. I'll be with my kids. And I'll see another little kid by himself, and I'll be like, "Bro, we're gonna stand here with you until we find your parents." I'm that kind of person. Yeah, but if I see somebody, I'm just saying that's a character. That's my character. But if I see somebody that just doesn't like me, just not to like me, then I feel in my mind they should die anyways. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't know me for nothing. For your point, for you to even hate me.
This doesn't mean to me. This is politics. This is separate from how I feel personally about people. Yeah. These are politics. Everything can be separated out. How I feel politically is not meaning that I need him to die over it. Like I said in our last clip that we did about this, because I disagree with someone's political view doesn't mean I want him to die.
No, that's what makes us American. Like we should disagree on political views. There's a lot of things we do agree on as Americans. Well, I mean, some of us agree on Americans. Like we don't like pedophiles. Mm-hmm. I mean, some of us.
I understand.
We want lower gas. We want lower groceries. We want to be able to afford homes. We want to be able to go to work for 40 hours or less a week and actually be able to live and have a good and enjoy our days off. You know, I think everyone agrees on those fundamental things. Mm-hmm. And we want to make sure our country is protected. Those are fundamental things that we all agree on. All the rest of the stuff is just how we feel about things. But I mean, this kind of political violence, but that's a failure on security.
I mean, absolutely a failure. But the biggest thing is they're going to take this point and they're going to make it into something where they can play victim now. Oh, well, you guys are attacked Trump and they're trying to do this to Trump and this is this and man, you guys have expounded violence this entire time. You guys have been talking about violence. You guys have been wanting violence. You've been calling for it. I've been hearing you say, if this doesn't go our way, we don't know how
there'll be blood in the streets.
X, Y. This is what you're calling for. This is who you are. Nobody's on the other side of the aisle. You haven't heard anyone say, oh, if this election doesn't go our way, we're going to do this. We're going to do that. Because that's not how it's an election. That's what the elections are for. People vote. You know, in reality, that's how it really should be. It really should be just election of Americans versus Americans, where it's like the majority wins. That's an election. That's a true election at the end of the day. But we have the system that we have in place, and you guys have a lot of say so in that system. And if you can't take what comes along with an election, then you shouldn't be here. Like this guy obviously had some views that were outside of the norm.
Even if it was like, we don't even know why he shot him. We don't know nothing. There could
have been a number of reasons.
There's not a manifesto that's been found at the time of this recording.
Yep.
No one's checked his internet history at the time of this recording. We don't know why he did it. He could have just been crazy. Remember the lady that wore a diaper all the way from Philly and she drove all the way to Washington, D.C. and ran into the barrier during President Obama's election or presidential run? She wanted to try to kill him just because she had some crazy conspiracy. You never know. These people are just fucking nuts.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And that's one thing, too. We don't deal with mental health. You know, and, you know, this wouldn't happen if we kind of had gun control. But, you know, anyways, that's a whole nother subject.
I mean,
but that's America. I mean, I don't want to get rid of guns.
Is it really even a gun control issue? Is it just
gun control has to do with they mask gun control. I shouldn't even say that. They mask gun control with not looking at people being just crazy. Like, remember the guy in Maine?
It just doesn't make a lot of sense, man. When you look at the situation, like, how did this person know that place was going to be unguarded?
How did he know that was a good vantage? Like, he must be from there. Or he must have known ahead of time, but you would see him scoping out the place. He must have known something.
Like I said, the way I look at it, man, just with everything that's going on, the way that there's a report that said that Trump told the guy's name, I think his name is Viktor Orban. He's the prime minister of Hungary, and so this was they met like yesterday or in Mar-a-Lago. And they spoke, and Trump spoke with them about, I guess there was some secret like meeting, not just secret, I won't say secret meeting, but a conversation where it was a message sent back to Putin because it was reported on Russian news that I guess Trump said, hey, I can stop this war in 24 hours. I would just stop sending funds to Ukraine. And to me, it just seems really, really strange. Not saying that that's the reason why this
he
happened.
ain't even in the White House yet. He's already committing treasonous acts.
And that I mean, really, because if you're setting up deals, like already setting up deals behind closed doors, telling people what, like pretty much broadcasting what you're going to do. Everyone knows what that is. You're undermining our whole entire government by doing stuff like that. And so I just hope people don't let this become something to where we still feel sorry for a person who really like that. The point when you come in and say, like we were saying, I don't really worry about a person who doesn't care about me.
Yeah.
That's the part of it we need to work. That's the part we need to like add to that we need to take that to the ballot box.
Yeah.
We need to go and vote because of that reason. Not to me, it's not about killing a person. You don't do something like that. Doesn't make sense. Like when it comes to politics, because it's not him. He represents a point of view. You kill him, that point of view will get bigger. That point of view will get stronger. That's called martyr. Martyring someone.
No, if you take out the head of that snake, and that, I mean, it's going to be around.
Be another snake that comes in because really, and
there's nobody as powerful as him to come up. Everyone else is politicians.
It has nothing. It has a lot less to do with that's the point of view. I would think that the Heritage Foundation really probably might not even want him in office. Actually, I'm not saying they want him to win, but they probably have a candidate who they think is a lot more clean cut and is going to really handle their agenda better than what he would.
Well, I mean, he had so much bad stuff come out. He had all those phone calls to the pedo that we will not name because we'll get demonetized. You know what I'm saying? He had this thing you just talked about, giving backdoor messages to Putin. There's a lot of bad news coming out about it. I mean, like, there's so much bad about Joe Biden, but there's more bad stuff about him. I mean, it could have been an inside job. There could have been Republicans that are like, look, there's no place for us in the Trump. Think about it, Donald Trump is king. He don't got to listen to nobody. That your political power is gone. He could be like, I don't like you, Lindsey Graham, no more.
They didn't just give it to him. They've given that to any presidential candidate that comes along.
Yeah, but they're expecting him to use it first.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Because Joe Biden can barely know where he's at half the time.
Yeah, I mean.
He don't know if he's. Yeah, whatever. Anyways.
Yeah, but I know, like I said, I understand, man. I agree where you're coming from with it. I just,
yeah,
it's just one of those things that.
And then it is. Okay, so we want to get into this. We've had this information for a day or two, but we've been so busy. It's just hackers stole records detailing the phone contacts of almost all AT&T wireless customers in one of the most serious breaches of sensitive consumer data in recent years. The company disclosed in a securities filing Friday. The cache include the numbers called or texted by more than 100 million customers between May 1st and October 31st of 2022. As well as one day in January 2023. It contains the numbers themselves as well as the frequency and combined duration of the interactions, but not the consumer's names or the content of these communications, AT&T said.
Man, it just sounds like they're selling your information to me.
Well, they did. When Donald Trump came in, they passed a law where actually consumers' information could be sold to, big corporations or whatever. And people don't realize that's when he started getting those scam calls. Like, hey, this is blah, 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 your AT&T, your Amazon, your iPhone account. I get
calls, I get all that stuff. Yeah. Hey, how are you? Like, random stuff.
Yeah, it's always an Indian dude, too. Like, one time they called me because something happened with my bank. Oh, no, I sent money to my friend through Facebook, and his account was hacked already. So the money's just sitting there because they never could get the money out. But they started calling me saying, oh, this is your bank calling you. I'm like, bro, it sounds like you in a car right now. And then I call my bank, and they masked the number to look like my bank's, 1-800 or 24-hour hot number and shit. And like, I call him, and I call my bank, and I'm like, yeah, man, I got this dude on the line. He's calling this. And I'm like, hey, I'm going to put him on three-way. And so, because on my bank could talk to him, and I put him on three. I was like, hello, but he hung up. So I was going to get him. I feel like, man, they should be held accountable for these type of things. And it's not, because this is all of our information. This is just not, I'm not an AT&T customer, thank God. But, at the end of the day, they need to be held accountable for letting our information leak out like this. And they're just telling us about it. Look, this happened in 2022. Well, yeah, and I remember that happened. It happened before this too. It's happened twice in the last 5 years, I think, to AT&T. Their stuff just keeps getting hacked. And I got AT&T.
They just put this out now, though. I mean, you're talking about they're not going to re-put this. They're probably just releasing the fact that this.
I would have put it out now too. I'm like, he who has the freaky island that shall not be named. Paperwork came out. You know what I'm saying? Joe Biden's barely coherent. Throw it out now. No one will see it.
I mean,
they're hoping nobody will see it.
You're wondering, like, what else are they? Because people put their sensitive bank account information on their phones. Everything's on your phone. Your pictures, everything. I mean, in your text messages, you're allowing. What are they doing? I mean, what kind of?
They're like, you're gonna get the call like, hello. Do you remember back in October 28th when you planned to cheat on your wife?
I mean, you almost think
They
that it
good,
has
though.
something to do with stuff like this. Maybe it has probably a lot less to do with the people who we like, the smaller people, but maybe it has more to do with just they're grabbing certain information, but they grab it all just to make it look good. But who knows, man? This
that makes sense. Like they grab that actually makes sense because think about it, why would you just? They said it was 10 million customers between May 1st, January, February, March, April, May. Actually, that's a long time. That's May through the October 31st. And then they just one day. That's what makes it suspicious. The one day in January 2023. Mm-hmm. They had to get certain information. So that makes a lot of sense.
It's a grab for something that they're trying to get. Senators strike bipartisan deal for a ban on stock trading by members of Congress. A bipartisan group of senators on Wednesday launched a renewed effort to ban members of Congress from trading stock. Congress should not be here to make a buck, Senator Josh Hawley, Republican of Missouri, said at a press conference Wednesday on Capitol Hill. There's no reason why members of Congress ought to be profiting off of the information that only they get. The proposal is the latest chapter in years-long saga in Congress to pass regulations that limit lawmakers' ability to buy and sell stocks, and the first one to get formal consideration by a Senate committee. In this case, the Homeland Security and Governmental Affairs Committee on July 24th. So this is a bipartisan bill. I think Josh Hawley, and they also have Ossoff of Georgia. He's one of the senators for this. He's a Democrat, and Merkley as well. Peters, a Democrat of Michigan. They're all trying to get this law passed because there's a lot of people who just trade stocks behind certain.
Well, I mean, like, think about it. Our country would probably run a lot smoother if that law got passed. There's a lot of people that are like, well, I don't want this law to pass because it might take away from my stocks.
I mean, you look at like most of these people say they make like $200,000 a year. Like you got a person like, I'm going to bring up Nancy Pelosi. You got a person like that. She might say they make $250,000 a year, whatever they make in Congress. But now she's worth like $70 million.
Yeah.
And now, I mean, but she's been in Congress for a very, very, very long time. Her husband's a successful business owner as well. But who's to say, like, you know,
I mean, they all get rich in Congress. I mean, they may do like calls
how much money they make.
or speeches and stuff. But like I said before, I remember we talked about this off camera. It reminds me of the scene of Black Dynamite, where Black Dynamite walks into the crowd of the pimps and the drug dealers. He's like, hey, man, you know, I just want to let y'all know, Black Dynamite, nobody could be selling drugs in the neighborhood. I have to take them down. And the drug dealer was like, well, Black Dynamite, I sell drugs in the community. And Black Dynamite's like, be that as it may. If I see you out there, brother, we are enemies.
I mean, this is honestly, they're getting information firsthand before anyone else is getting this information, and they're able to take that information and then either sell. I think there's some guys during COVID.
No, I'm about to say that it didn't begin COVID. They knew it was coming, so they put stock in all the medicine and all that. Yeah, they got hella rich.
I mean, so this is definitely a very good bill. It should definitely pass. You know, I hope that these people can come together. Howley's a pretty high ranking Republican. They had a lot of hopes for him to one day be president. He may still have that same ambition after Trump, you know, after his run's done. You know what I mean? I think he just didn't want to go against Trump.
I don't think if Trump lost this one, he ain't going to run again.
No, that's what I'm saying. After his run's done, after this one, he probably 2028, depending on, you know, it doesn't even matter if he wins this one. That's the end of it. If Biden wins this one,
if Donald Trump wins,
be a new president in 2028, regardless.
If Donald Trump wins, can we just release all the movies that are supposed to come out in 2025 and 26? We ain't gonna have time to watch them. Not at all.
I mean, look, if he becomes president, man, there's gonna be a lot of reordering in this country.
Yeah, some reordering in the country now that we need to start doing. I got one here. Judge rejects effort by Washington Attorney General Bob Ferguson to get records from the Catholic Church. A Washington state judge said Friday the Attorney General Bob Ferguson is not entitled to enforce a subpoena seeking decades of records from the Seattle Archdiocese, despite its assertion that the records are needed to learn whether the Catholic Church used charitable trust funds to cover up sexual abuse by priests. Judge Michael Scott sided with the Archdiocese, which argued that under the state's law governing charitable trusts, Ferguson did not have authority to enforce the subpoena. The law contains an exemption designed to ensure that the states do not meddle in religious practices.
So religious practices are sexually assaulting kids?
Said it before, yes.
You know what? I mean, and it's deeper than that. I know you said this before. This is a true
I've talked about this many times, yes.
Yeah, he has brought this up, and it's a fact that he's talked about this in depth. What I do feel at the same time, too, this is more of a power thing. It has a lot more to do with who it is. Like, we got to understand the Catholic Church is probably one of the wealthiest, if not the wealthiest entity in the world right now.
The Catholic Church is basically just the Roman Empire restructured. That's all it is. But the whole thing is, like I'm saying, I'm like, how much? Look, he tried. I see. That's what I brought it up. My statement last time. Who's in power? Who has the power?
Money.
Exactly.
Money has the
when
power.
someone tries to hold them accountable and a judge shoots it down and we act like everything's all hunky dory.
We act like that judge. I mean, you got to look at, is he appointed? You know, is he voted in? Does he have to run every few years? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Next thing you know, he has a great, I mean, he's look into what he owns. Look into what he gets later on down the line.
Look at who's donating to him.
Exactly. How did he get appointed to this case?
I'm saying America's
religious background.
Check it out. America is really bogged right now by Israel and a pedophile ring here in this country that is underlining and we are not talking about. Yeah. Something bad is going on. Think about it. Hollywood. No one in Hollywood has ever been touched. People have given names.
Yeah.
What was his name? The one big black dude that was in Third Friday.
Terry Crew.
He played Terry Crew. Terry Crew got sexually assaulted by one of the dudes that does it to people, and they did nothing to him.
I'm like, man, Terry Crew, man.
Terry Crew said, Eddie Griffin said the same thing. Eddie Griffin was like, look, this dude grabbed my dick, and I slapped the shit out of him. And he said, you'll never work in this town again. He's like, I never did. Terry Crew, the same dude, grabbed his dick, sexually assaulted him. And Terry Crew said, I could beat this guy up, but if I do, I'll never work in this town again.
At the end of the day, man, it's like, we know what's going on here. They really came out with a piece of it. People have been talking about this for years. The Corey,
the Feldman,
he came out with this.
He said names,
and then at the same time, who was that? Barbara Walters was like, why would you want to tear everyone down with this? She knew, like, you know about. You've been in this business for a long time. You were like attacking him for wanting to tell the truth.
Yeah,
you know, like, hey, if these people are assaulting young kids, man, if these people are like raping young kids or even or sexualizing young kids, they should be outed. This is what it is. Why not? What are we hiding? Why was there such thing as Epstein Island? Why do we have that going on? Why do we have someone who's basically steps away from the White House? All of a sudden, a couple days ago, they come out with his Epstein papers. Now all of a sudden, he's almost assassinated. You know, I don't know. Maybe
the assassin was one of the parents.
Or
it could have been like I'm saying. It could be a whole bunch of things. How can 500 some odd or 5,000 some odd children, immigrants, come from Mexico, get taken from their parents, and just lost in America? We know where those children are. Shoot, they had one time where I think it was Illinois. They busted this house where they were like they were selling sex trafficking children, and the police were in the back because the police were part of it.
Really?
Yes, it was in the paper, but we just ignore it because it just goes right by. There's something underlining going on in this country where the people of power are fucking little kids, and we're just letting it slide. And all the people that are in power are just letting it go. So, I mean,
I get you, man.
Yeah.
Not
it's
to
upsetting.
Get off. I agree. Not to get off too far off subject. Astronauts confident in Boeing's space capsule for safe return despite leaks and engine trouble. 2 astronauts who should have been back to Earth weeks ago said Wednesday that they're confident that Boeing's space capsule can return them safely despite breakdowns. NASA test pilots Butch Wilmore and Suni Williams launched aboard Boeing's new Starliner capsule early last month, the first people to ride it. Leaks and thruster failures almost derailed their arrival at the International Space Station and has kept them there much longer than planned. In their first news conference from orbit, they said that they expect to return once the thruster testing is complete here on Earth. They said they're not complaining about getting extra time in orbit, and they're enjoying the space station crew.
I'd be happy to be up in space right now, too. I'd be like, the Earth looking crazy right now.
Look, I mean, but this is, again.
No, that's major. That's major.
Who's in the middle of this all over again?
Boeing.
You know, these guys, man, I don't even know how they're still getting contracts at this point.
They're probably not. They're just letting them run out.
Though. They got a bunch of billions of dollars. I just watched the thing on them. They got a bunch of contracts from the government. We can't let them fail. I think it's them, and I think McDonnell Douglas or one of the. I can't remember the other one.
Boeing used to be good. I think I said this before. Boeing used to be good because the people that ran Boeing actually knew how to work on the planes. Mm-hmm. They went to school for it. So, like, if you have somebody that's in charge that knows what they're doing, they're fine. But now it's shareholders that run it. And so they're all about profit. But, I mean, if I'm trapped in space, I mean, that sucks. That's a horrible thing. Like, think about it. If they would have came back, it would have been worse if they tried to re-enter. And when they tried to re-enter, they would have just blown up because there's leaks in there.
They knew when they were going
out. When they're going up, it was bad.
They knew that there's something. I mean, but this is a failure by Boeing because this is not the only thing that Boeing has going on right now. They just basically had to plead guilty. Boeing pleads guilty to criminal fraud charge stemming from 737 MAX crashes. Boeing has agreed to plead guilty to criminal fraud tied to a fatal 737 MAX crashes, a decision that brands the U.S. aerospace giant a felon, but allows it to avoid trial while it tries to turn the page from safety and manufacturing crisis. Under the deal, Boeing would face a fine of up to $487 million, though Justice Department recommend that the court credit Boeing with half of that amount it paid under a previous agreement, resulting in a fine of $243,600,000. The plea deal requires the approval of a federal judge to take effect. If the deal is accepted, it would complicate Boeing's ability to sell products to the U.S. government as a felon. Bruh.
Damn.
Though the company could seek waivers, about 32% of Boeing's nearly $78 billion in revenue last year came from its defense, space, and security unit. Come on, man.
I'm just saying like this. If I'm stuck in space with a female astronaut and I'm a male astronaut, I'm like, well, baby, we're going to be stuck up here for a while. I just want to make sure that you're
But the point of it, hey, I'm just this company right here has been having problems.
So much trouble. It's like a running joke now.
Over and over again. Now they're felons, man. If this is a person, you're going to the joint. You're going to the joint.
Wait, the company's a felon?
To you. Yeah, they just say I know you're, but they're felons now, man. Basically, look. I mean,
what the hell? I guess a felony ain't nothing unless you're black.
Boeing has agreed to plead guilty to criminal fraud tied to the fatal 737 MAX crashes, a decision that brands the U.S. aerospace giant a felon. You know what I mean? They're felonies. They're felons now. They got felonies and everything. They're just like Trump. I mean, they got felonies. It's all good. It doesn't matter.
Now you're going to see black people
said that they're not even supposed to be able to get government contracts as being a felon. They're going to be able to get around this, though, because they have to.
That's crazy. Now they're going to start advertising to black folks. You can come work for us. We'll hire all of you.
They should no longer allow to be able to not hire felons.
How you make a company a felon? That's crazy,
man.
Who does the time? The building? You just put a fence around it.
That's the problem with Citizens United when they said that corporations are people. It's a problem. There's just no way to be able to really punish them, but by either closing it down, you can't punish anyone.
When you put an ankle bracelet on one of the cement poles inside,
man,
be home by 8:00, motherfucker.
It's crazy.
Make sure lights are off. That's crazy.
At this point in time, man, there's just really nothing that we can even.
That's crazy.
There's really nothing we can even say about that because Boeing's been going through it pretty bad, man. I think that. Honestly, I feel like they're going to have to just do a total rebranding sooner or later.
How do you rebrand Boeing though? They've been around for so long. Man, they're going to have to do something and start lowering prices.
They're having their landing gear malfunctioning. I guess their tires fell off their landing gear and crashed through somebody's car window, almost killing them.
Well, I mean, like let's look at it like this. I mean,
Boeing's flying off the planes.
Boeing's not that bad. Now,
Two people died. Two of their
that's bad. No, all the horrific stuff
died within 2 months of each other.
But think about this:
murdered, bro.
How many Boeing planes are in the air all at once?
Man, if you got hella doors flying off and you got two people,
how many? There was 2 doors out of 1,000.
Hella, which probably
let's say 10 doors out of 20,000 jets. That's okay.
No, man, it ain't okay.
As long as you're not in the exit.
The one door flew off and the people up in it. I would be sick to my stomach.
Imagine you had to get up to boo boo because you ate some food on the plane. Then the exit door pop out. You fly out, the shit is stamped.
You stupid, bro.
People in there scream.
No, what I'm saying, like, I'm watching them on the plane. I couldn't imagine flying on a plane knowing that the door flew off. Imagine the person who's sitting there right next to it.
You know what's happening? I'm holding my seatbelt singing, money, 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 money. Money!
No, man, I'll be sick to my stomach.
I'll be sick too. I'm going to throw up. I'm going to pee on myself.
You know how cold it is up that high?
Yeah.
You know how cold it's going to be inside the plane you flying? It's already cold.
Well,
they already make
it's crazy. The movie stuff is just, nothing jumps out. It's like someone's in the movies, they make it seem like the door pops out and everybody flies out, everyone gets sucked out. No, just to get depressurized. Your ears pop and you're just sitting there, just wind coming out
to your stomach. You know what I mean? Like it's not good business.
It's just like skydiving.
I've been through some pretty tough turbulence before, and some of it's got me kind of like where I was like, oh, I'm looking around. You start looking at your neighbor like this might be it for us. You know what I mean?
You see the little thing. You see the thing above you start shaking like it's about to open. You be like, nah, come on, not today. Not today.
Imagine the door pops off. This has been happening frequently, like lately, man. This is like,
if I can live.
Then they had crashes. Hold up, this is not just doors. They're talking about these are from crashes that killed hundreds of people each crash.
And I'm not saying they're
consistently, like bam, bam, killing. Like so.
But who you going? What's the other plane company you gonna trust?
There's a lot of them out there.
Like who? Name one.
What was it? McDonnell Douglas. A bunch of others. Over in Europe, they have a bunch of them as well too.
Because all here is
Aerospace.
Boeing.
I think they have one called Aerospace.
I thought Aerospace did.
I don't know. Don't quote me on it. I know.
Yeah, I think it's just Boeing. I think it's just Boeing.
In America, we have two. But over in Europe, they have a bunch of other ones. I forget the names of them. I can't remember them right now off the top of my head.
You gonna fly Air India?
Yeah, if they're making better planes than Boeing, if they got a better track record than Boeing does, I will fly them. Yes, they said that they were at Boeing plants, like jumping on top of the wings and stuff to get the thing in place. That's like somebody like, you know what I mean? I ain't gonna say what I'm talking about, but they just like,
it's like a mechanic and stuff. Like,
yeah, man.
I'm like, we got the plane together. Hey, we got some extra pieces for you just in case you need them.
Like, and this is what they're doing with the planes. You got to fly in with this stuff.
That comes from poor management.
One person, two people.
That's poor management.
Everybody's dead on the plane.
They're probably doing that back in the day, Boeing. Because people weren't just sensitive little bitches back then.
No, man.
Nowadays they tell it.
Dude was talking about this recently, right before they knocked his head off. They killed two people.
Two of them. Yeah,
they're the ones who said it. Those two. And all of a sudden, one of them kills himself.
And the other one dies of some mysterious illness.
You know what I mean? Come on, man. We got to act like we don't. We supposed to just keep on going on and just walking. I don't know which plane's a Boeing plane.
You know what? I got things to do next month. I ain't talking bad about Boeing. Planes look fine to me.
That's fact, man. That's big.
I'm good. I like your planes. Thanks for the free peanuts. Yo, the spectacular collapse of the New Mexican criminal prosecution of Alec Baldwin in the deadly Rust movie shooting laid bare nearly 3 years of error by state officials who were eager to prove themselves on a world stage. Legal experts had long said it was a risk to charge Baldwin with involuntary manslaughter, a felony, for the 2021 death of cinematographer Hailani Hutchinson, who the actor accidentally shot while preparing for a scene with a firearm. Baldwin had been told incorrectly that his prop gun contained no actual ammunition. New Mexico's first judicial district court judge, Mary Marlowe Sumer, threw out Baldwin's charge late Friday following a day-long hearing in which defense attorneys alleged Santa Fe County deputies and special prosecutors concealed potential evidence. A bag of bullets an Arizona retired police officer turned in after the incident that may have provided helpful to Biden's case.
Baldwin's
case.
So you did the same thing that Joe Biden does a lot of times. You mixed up the two names. Anybody can do it. That's just letting you guys know anybody can do it. Okay, I'm not talking.
D-Mac for president. Future. Hold on, no, it's too late now. As your future president, I'm going to put a nickel tax on every cup of coffee. That'll get us out of debt. Marijuana will be legal across the world, across America. We're going to outlaw pickles and cucumbers. Sorry, they got to go.
Listen. But like we were talking about earlier, Alec Baldwin, I thought he killed two people with two different shots. I was like, he's guilty.
You going to take my presidential time? Let's go. Let's get back on subject. Yeah, no, he shot two people. You shot him. But I mean, the whole thing is they already got the lady that gave him the gun.
But who's giving it? She did that on purpose. Somebody got that person killed on purpose. But you don't just have a real gun. You know what I mean?
It happened to Daniel Lee on the set of The Crow.
You don't think that was done intentionally?
They usually make their own ammunition.
Nah, bro. Listen, man, this was done. They killed Daniel Lee intentionally too. There's no way you're supposed to have real bullets on a set where there's going to be. Come on, bro. That's not an accident.
Yeah, I mean, I've only seen one movie with real bullets on the set.
You know what I'm saying? It don't happen, bro.
Oh, no. Bruce Leroy, Barry Gordy's Last Dragon, when Bruce Leroy caught the bullet with his teeth, that was real. Oh, okay. And nobody can tell me nothing about that.
It doesn't happen in real life, man. They don't ever have real bullets on the set of a movie, man. Like, that's just not even a thing.
You didn't dodge it. Dang it. Dodge the next one.
They're not even going to have a real gun on the set. Yeah. It's not even going to be a real gun. You know what I mean? Maybe
they're supposed to add they used to use like blanks to make it look real, but now they can just like I can edit video at my house.
Where you killing 3,000 people in the movie and nobody's ever got shot with a real bullet. Let's be real here. I mean, this is a movie probably where there's like one or two shots in the whole entire movie.
There's no real shots. Everyone's just jumping backwards like.
But you know what I'm saying though? But the one gun that you bring to this set is a real gun, and you kill that person. And he said he was playing around with her and he shot the gun at her. You killed her on purpose. My personal opinion. This is just my personal opinion. This is not a fact. It's not a fact at all. This is just how I feel. Like personally, opinion. That person, man, that's not an accident, bro.
They just want, no, I mean, you're on a movie set.
I'm going to click the gun at you. Come on, bro. Like, and then all of a sudden it's a real gun.
Yeah.
It's a real gun.
I mean, he shot her once. If he was a shooter.
Wasn't she like, well, she wasn't even in the movie.
No, she was on the camera.
She wasn't even in the movie.
She got shot in the neck.
Is there something? It just seems, this is like a conspiracy. This is not factual. No factual basis at all. Seems kind of weird. Why are you shooting a gun at a person who's not even in the movie?
Well, he's shooting a gun at the camera. He's like, ha, cow, just joking around like I'm aiming at the camera. You're shooting a movie. This is something you do. It's a fake gun. You know what I'm saying? But he shot her.
He shot her in the neck. He didn't shoot the gun in the camera. He shot the gun.
He was pretty beat up about it. But I mean, like, usually if that shit happened to me, I'd go to jail.
Then he shot her, and then that bullet, I guess it was either one bullet or whether it was two, whatever, went through her, killed her, and shot something, hit somebody else. I mean, to me, man, it just sounds fishy to me. You know what I'm saying? You just accidentally killed. How many times do we hear that?
I think it was a political hit job to come after him. I mean, he did a really good Trump impression.
I don't think it was a political hit job, man.
They hated him. Remember he used to do Donald Trump on SNL?
He killed somebody, bro, and it didn't seem right. It doesn't sound right, man. How many times do you hear that a person, he did do a good job of Trump on SNL.
He did.
You're right. But how many times do you hear of that happening in real life, bro?
No, look, Dick Cheney was vice president, he shot, remember, he shot his friend.
Too, probably.
He shot his friend. Like, pissed at him, shot him, and they let him go. He was like, oh, it was a hunting accident. No, he got pissed off at him and popped his ass.
Yeah, I mean.
Like, real facts. They let it go. As long as they like the person, they let it go. As long as he's famous or he has that complexion for the protection, they let him go. They had dudes in LA getting chased by the police and the news helicopters crashed and they charged them for those deaths.
That's the news.
They said it was your fault that the news people had to come out.
Who told y'all to come after me in your news helicopter? That's your fault. That has nothing to do with me. Is you can't fly your helicopter.
Charge them with murder because they crashed into each other not paying attention.
That's crazy to me. That doesn't make any sense at all. That's like when if a police officer or something happens and then a police officer kills somebody else, but you were committing a crime. Now you getting charged for that person's murder because what this person did.
They'll do that. They'll do that. Hey, if a cop car hits another cop car and injures the police, they'll charge you with injuring the police.
I already know, man.
But they do all kind of crazy shit. But Alec Baldwin shot a lady she not on camera, through the camera. Like, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And it's got away. They locked up the lady, the armory lady. I can't remember what they called it, but they locked her up. They said it was her fault. Because she's the one that gave him the gun.
Something happened,
He didn't just pull it out of his trailer like, we're going to use old Jimmy here.
I'm just saying, man, something funny happened right there. But
yeah, it was funny. He shot through the camera and shot two people and got away with it. Now he's back on the news with his ear missing off like, hey, ladies and gentlemen, Donald Trump here.
I don't know if he's gonna do Trump again.
Nah, Trump will have him assassinated.
He might leave that one alone.
And then say, excuse me, presidential immunity. You know how that's going. U.S. Germany foiled Russian plot to assassinate CEO of arm manufacturer, officials say. U.S. intelligence officials warned that German authorities earlier this year that Russia was plotting to assassinate the head of Europe's biggest weapons producer. According to two Western officials, amid an escalation sabotage campaign by Moscow to raise the cost of Western support for Ukraine. The Western officials said the alleged plot to kill Armin Poprigis, the head of Rheinmetall, a major German arm manufacturer that has been a key supplier of artillery shells and tanks for Ukraine, was part of the Kremlin's spiraling hybrid war against the West. The warning to the Germans about the plot, first reported by CNN on Thursday, was made by the United States earlier this year, those officials said.
What do you think?
Well, I ain't got no bullets. I mean, I think it's crazy. Like, you just assassinated. Somebody's going to take his place. I guess you would have to blow up the factory. That would make a little more sense. But I mean, if you kill the CEO, maybe the next person might think twice. But they're German, so
I mean, they're taking this. They're taking it pretty seriously.
Ain't no rules in war. I don't know why everybody keeps seeing that. We see what's happening in Gaza.
Yep. I mean, it's going. I mean, you hear about in Belarus. I know they just pulled back their troops off the border of Ukraine. I think they're just. I mean, they're getting angry. You see, like right now, Russia's also been threatening Germany over the fact that America, we're about to put some missiles over there.
Yeah.
And, a missile system over there as well. So they've been threatening them like, hey, if you do that, then your cities are fair game for missile strikes or whatever else.
Yeah.
If you let these guys come in here. I mean, I don't know.
You can't be shooting. You can't. That's like putting like missiles, like Russia putting missiles in Mexico on the border of Texas, and then telling us, hey, but you can't shoot them because they're in Germany or they're in Mexico. You know what I'm saying? It's the same thing. Yeah. I mean, if America puts some missiles turrets in Germany to fire at Russia.
But they're not saying they're going to fire them at Russia.
But it's kind of, you're going to use
they're just putting them there as like a missile defense system. I mean, it's not even a defense system, right? It's just a missile system. It's not explicitly for you. It's just saying, hey, we're going to put them in Germany. We know that Germany.
If Russia did it in Mexico, right on the border, would we just be like, oh no, they're just putting them there? No, we'd be uptight too.
Well, that's why we keep a good relationship with Mexico, and Russia doesn't have a good relationship with Germany. I mean, they had a better one, but then something happened. So that Germany and France, they're both the two countries that kept Ukraine out of NATO in 2019.
Yeah.
So obviously there was some kind of relationship between the two. Now that relationship is soured. You got France, who got their 3 favorite places taken from them by Russia. And now you got Germany, where they had like some kind of data breach where they had some German records that they found saying that like Germany was complicit in something against Russia. I have to look in more into it to get back to you. But Russia hacked Germany and stole some information from them. And now, so they just don't have a good relationship with them. That's on them.
They wish they had a president like our old one who just gave them the documents.
And you look at
my bad.
Who used to have, I think, East and West Berlin were split. East and West Germany were basically, there was East and West Germany. And so they used to have one side, we had the other side. Now, if you don't have a good relationship with these guys years later, they can't have nuclear weapons because of World War II, pretty much. Neither can, I think, Japan can't have nuclear weapons because of that too.
Yeah.
And so we're basically saying here, we're going to give you some missiles over here so that you can protect yourself because, they're the ones who they're right after you get past Poland, those other countries, they're right there.
Didn't David Hasselhoff sing and get the Berlin Wall taken down?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
Petty Falco. Anyways,
I know that Reagan said that. Tear down that wall.
Before we let you go, we want to give you guys an update here on Israel and what's going on with the war in Gaza. I got one. Israel strikes a stretch of Gaza filled with displaced residents, killed at least 90 people on Saturday, according to the local health ministry. An attack, Israel said, had targeted top Hamas leader, military commander Mohammed Defi. It was not clear whether Defi, who heads Hamas's armed wing, was killed in the strike. There is still no absolute certainty.
They killed 90 people.
Now you killed 90 people and you can't just...
They've been killing people. Like, we haven't really reported on it, and I feel kind of like we haven't been doing our job.
There's been too much going on. Yeah, I feel you.
I mean, that's not, but there's been people dying, like a lot of people, 30 people, 30 here and there that we just hearing about. That's a lot of people, man. Every day you're killing like 50 people every day, and it's adding up. They're finding like mass graves where hospitals used to be all the time right now. They haven't even found all the bodies. I know they're probably up near 40,000 that they're saying that they can do.
Oh, today probably 40,000 today.
And it's just getting to a point to where it's like, we're not talking about it because there's so much other stuff going on in the world, but there's still people like they just kicked everybody out of Gaza. Pretty much, they sent out leaflets telling everybody they need to leave Gaza. Pretty much, not Gaza. I'm sorry, Rafah. I'm sorry, they didn't say Gaza. Gaza is the whole entire strip, but Rafah, the city of Rafah, they sent out leaflets saying everyone just needs to leave right now. All they're really trying to do is just get people to scatter so they can start picking them off. I'm watching. Like some of the IDF people saying, when I get bored, I just start shooting people because that's how they've set it up for them. Now there's arguments they have online where guys are like, I'm killing babies, I'm doing this. They could just be lying, but I don't think so. I think that this is real. I think that as many civilians are being killed and butchered in Gaza, this is real. They're allowing them just to go in there. How they're blowing up buildings over there, like their whole entire blocks, just blowing them up. There's everything. I mean, just total destruction, leaving nothing. Leaving nothing.
We're gonna look up one day and we're gonna realize, all the Palestinians are dead. That's what's gonna happen. I mean, they'll be scattered across the world, but their stuff is gone. I believe you have another report on that.
And that's just in Gaza. This now over here, Israel approves plan for nearly 5,300 new homes in the West Bank. And now the West Bank there's Gaza and there's the West Bank. This is what they basically were given after they took Palestine from the Palestinians and turned it into Israel. The Israeli government has approved plans to build nearly 5,300 new homes and settlements in the occupied West Bank, a monitoring group said Thursday. The latest in a campaign to accelerate settlement expansions, aimed at cementing Israeli control of the territory and preventing the establishment of a future Palestinian state. Word of the decision emerged as diplomatic efforts aimed at ending the 9-month war in Gaza appeared to be stirring back to life after weeks-long hiatus. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's office said he had decided to send negotiators to resume negotiations. A day earlier, the militant group Hamas handed mediators its latest response to U.S.-backed proposal for a deal. I mean, and like I said, now they're going to build 5,300 more homes over in the West Bank. They were not even supposed to have settlements in the West Bank at all. This is another thing that Trump has done to kind of like set this whole October 7th thing off. He made Jerusalem basically dubbed that as the capital of Tel Aviv is the capital of Israel from before, but now he's made Jerusalem. He said that Jerusalem's now the capital, which Jerusalem was supposed to be cut in half.
It's supposed to be a neutral zone. Jerusalem is the home of Jesus, and that's where all the biblical stuff is from. We've said this before. It's the continuous holy world war that they've been fighting for thousands of years, and it's just coming to a T now. Well, hundreds of years, I guess.
I mean, it's been thousands.
Yeah, it's been a long time. It's the holy war, and that's what they're trying to take over there. And it's sad we're watching the same genocide. It's basically like Europeans coming to America and then destroying all the Native Americans and calling it manifest destiny. It's we're just watching it in real time with cell phones and drone footage.
And like I had there's a guy who had made a comment saying this has been going on for a long time. This type of stuff, you're just it's just you guys just can't bear to watch it now that's happening now. We've been watching this type of stuff our whole life. We understand this type of thing because it happened to us. It's happened to us here. We've seen it abroad. It's been a consistent thing of like, you don't want to use the word trauma because it makes you sound like you're weak.
PTSD.
But we understand what this is. At the same time, what I also do understand is that manifest destiny is that your time is over with now. The Europeans' time to rule everything the way they used to is no longer, this is done. But we're a part of this European kind of structure system as being Black Americans, foundational Black Americans. We're a part of it. So I would like to see this not come to an end the way that you're allowing it to come to an end. That's why we speak out on it the way that we do. So, I mean, that's just,
I mean, for the most part, I mean, like if you've been able to rule over people, and I mean, like rule over, knee in the back of their necks, do whatever I do, beat them, rape their women for years with no consequences. And now you see that falling apart. Like, these people would rather watch the world burn than give it back.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? And I think that's a note we should leave it out on. Uncommon courtesy. Let us know what you think. Leave your comments. We're always ready to talk back to you. Unless you get sassy. Then I'm going to get on you. All right, y'all. Uncommon courtesy. We'll see y'all next time.